Today, we're diving into a strategy for financial survival that's almost 2,000 years old. We're talking about a set of secrets for protecting your wealth, discovered in the actual ruins of one of the world's greatest empires. It's called the Fortress Portfolio.
But before we get into that, I want you to stop and really think about this question. I don't mean your money losing a little value to inflation. I mean, what if it became completely, totally, utterly worthless? Like overnight. What would you do? Because, it's happened before. And understanding how is the key to making sure it doesn't happen to you.
So, you want to know how to protect your wealth in the future? Well, the crazy thing is, we have to look to the past, way back to a time when an entire empire's wealth just died. We're talking about the Roman Empire and its chaotic 3rd century crisis. And when I say vanished, I mean it. In a scarily short amount of time, the things people thought were safe, the very foundation of their financial lives, just became useless. Imagine your entire life savings just, poof, gone.
Okay, so check this out. This is basically the ancient version of hyperinflation. The denarius, which was Rome's main silver coin, was just systematically watered down by the emperors. Just look at that drop. It goes from 90% pure silver to a measly 5% in just 80 years. The government was pretty much just printing money, and it absolutely destroyed its value. And the result of all that? It was an absolute wipeout. Historians are really clear about this. If your wealth was tied up in Roman money, or in what we would call government bonds, basically just promises from the emperor, you lost everything. Not some of it, 100%. So this whole thing brings up a really important idea, what we call the paper wealth trap. It's this reliance on things that aren't real, tangible assets, things that are really just promises. It was a fatal mistake back in Roman times, and as you're about to see, it's a mistake we might still be making today.
And here's where it gets a little scary. The parallel to today is, well, it's pretty hard to ignore. That worthless denarius, that's the ancient version of our fiat currency. Cash that's only valuable because a government says so. And those promises from the emperor? That's the Roman version of our government bonds. The names and technology have changed, but the underlying risk, it's exactly the same.
Okay, so this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the entire conventional financial system just imploded, who was left standing? Who managed to stay rich? And what in the world did they do right that everyone else did wrong?
Well, the answer is what this whole explainer is about. It's called the Fortress Portfolio. See, the people who made it through didn't just bet on one thing. They built their wealth on 3 totally different pillars that turned out to be basically indestructible during the crisis.
It all comes down to 3 incredibly simple but powerful rules. Rule 1, own what produces. Rule 2, own what endures. And Rule 3, own what you know. This is the absolute core of the Fortress Portfolio. So let's break down what each of these actually meant for the Romans.
All right. Pillar number 1 was productive land. The super wealthy Romans owned these huge estates called Latifundia. Now, the key here isn't just that they owned a bunch of dirt. It's that these estates were self-sustaining. They produced food. And think about it. When your money becomes worthless, what's the one thing everyone still needs? Food. Food literally became the new money.
Pillar number 2 was all about assets that endure. Stuff that just lasts. Gold is the obvious one, right? It was universally valuable then, just like it is now. But it was also things like fine art. Fancy Greek statues were a big deal. These were real, tangible things you could hold. You could move them. And their value had nothing to do with what the Roman government said.
And this third pillar, this might be the most important one of all. It was what some philosophers called portable power. We're talking about your knowledge, your reputation, your skills. Think about it. An army can seize your land. A thief can steal your gold. But nobody can take what's inside your head. That's the one form of wealth that is truly yours, forever.
Okay, so that's the ancient history lesson. Pretty cool, right? But what does any of this have to do with us, right now, today? Let's jump that 1,800-year gap and figure out how this ancient wisdom can help us build a modern financial fortress.
Let's tackle that first pillar. Own what produces. The modern go-to for this is usually a rental property, right? You buy a house, rent it out, and it produces income. But is that really the same thing as a Roman Latifundia? Let's debate it. So here's the critical difference. Yeah, a rental property gives you cash flow, but it's totally dependent on other people. Tenants who can pay rent, a functioning economy. The Roman Latifundia, on the other hand, was completely self-sustaining. It didn't need an outside system to have value. It was the system, producing essential goods. See the difference? All right, now for pillar number 2, own what endures. This is maybe the hottest debate in finance today. For literally thousands of years, the ultimate enduring asset has been gold. But now, a lot of people are arguing that Bitcoin is the new digital gold.
I mean, you can see the similarities. They're both scarce, and they both exist outside of any government's control. But the biggest difference is time. Gold has proven itself as a store of value through countless empires rising and falling. Bitcoin, well, it's revolutionary for sure, but it's still brand new. Its ability to survive a real, long-term crisis is, still a question mark.
But here's the thing. No matter what happens with real estate or Bitcoin or the stock market, that third pillar, it's the one that never changes. In any time, in any crisis, the single most durable and reliable asset you will ever have is your own knowledge, your skills, and your network. It's the wealth you carry inside of you.
And that's really the big idea here. We're not saying that we're about to have an exact repeat of the Roman collapse. The point is to see the pattern. As the old saying goes, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. The principles of what makes wealth real and resilient, productive assets, enduring value, and personal skills, those ideas are absolutely timeless. So I'm going to leave you with that one question to think about. Take a hard look at your own life, your investments, your job, your skills, and ask yourself, what is my fortress built on? Is it built on paper promises that could disappear tomorrow? Or is it built on something real, something that can actually withstand a storm?